This procession, this service, all a part of planning that has been a decade in the making, and it was planning that Muhammad Ali himself had a great deal of involvement with. To that end, earlier, I had a chance to speak with the Ali family spokesperson, Bob Gunnell, and I asked him what he believes the greatest had hoped this day would be. And Bob Gunnell is the Ali family spokesperson and joins us now from Louisville, Kentucky. Bob, first of all, our condolences again for the loss of your dear friend, and thank you so much for joining us this morning. I want to ask you about today because I know your friend Muhammad Ali had participated in the planning of this day. What had he hoped this day would be?
Everything that it's turned out to be, Josh. You know, Muhammad sat down with us starting 10 years ago to plan the entire event. Took about 2 years to come up with a draft version in which he and Lonnie had great input. Muhammad made a lot of, not a lot of changes, he made a few changes. He wanted to make sure that those that wanted to see him and pay tribute had an opportunity to do so. You know, he wanted to make sure there were public elements that went through his city and the area that he lived and grew up in, where the world could celebrate. And he wanted to make sure that it was done in a Muslim tradition. And I believe we've been able to achieve all of that. And I think today's memorial service will be everything that he had wished for.
You mentioned his wife Lonnie, and we've come to hear just stirring remembrances from his daughters in these last few days. How is the family doing right now?
The family is doing great. They're holding up. I was with them last night. I'll be with them again this morning. They're incredible. They're incredible. They have incredible strength. Obviously, they're sad and they're grieving, and I think today will be a very tough day.
As the week then has unfolded and the world has mourned your friend, and I'd imagine countless numbers of people have offered their services to you for today's memorial, among other things, what's been striking to you?
You know, the outpouring of love and support. I mean, I was talking to some local news anchors last night who are friends of mine, who said, this city, it's been amazing this past week. No stories of major stories of crime, stories of people coming together. And it's not because those stories were swept under the rug. I think everyone has embraced the spirit of Muhammad Ali in the city of Louisville. And around the country, I was receiving emails of condolences throughout the night. There are guests that were emailing throughout the night who said, you know, I was not going to be able to attend, but I've changed my plans to be there in the morning. I'll be arriving overnight and early this morning. I think it's going to be an incredible outpouring today.
We've seen the boxers he inspired, men such as Lennox Lewis, expected to be a pallbearer. Will Smith, who of course played him in the eponymous film, also heads of state, the King of Jordan, is going to be there. How complex has the planning been?
Well, the planning has been very complex. You know, we continue to adjust daily depending on who is coming. At some point, the Secret Service became involved and assisted us greatly. Without local law enforcement and federal law enforcement, we wouldn't have been able to safely make these events happen. But if you go back, you know, Josh, it was just 2 weeks ago that we had a planning meeting for this, not because Muhammad was in bad health, he was in great health 2 weeks ago. But we had an annual meeting where we sat down and went through all of the plans and made some slight tweaks and changes based on some things that had been suggested by Muhammad. And it was just fortuitous that that meeting happened and then the next week he went in the hospital.
Bob, we certainly don't want to violate the privacy of the family and his dear friends such as yourself, but what can you tell us, again, about a man who just 2 weeks ago, as you mentioned, was in good health and whom we lost this past just 1 week ago? What can you tell us about his final days?
His final days, actually, you know, were filled with joy. I mean, I don't know if the world can go back and look at his Twitter account and his tweets, and he would collaborate. He loved to still shock the world, and I would get pictures in the morning from him that were incredible, and suggestions of what they wanted to tweet out and what Muhammad wanted to do. And he had a great full life, and the last hospital battle was very quick, but I think it's the way that the champ would have wanted it.
It was a great full life that began there in the city of Louisville, Kentucky. He was a proud son, despite his at times complicated relationship with its history. What did the city mean to him?
Well, in this case, the city is going to embrace him. I think the world is going to see how much Louisville has changed over history, and how the love between the city and Muhammah Ali have come together.
It was a beautiful service yesterday we saw. We expect nothing short of another remarkable day today. So at day's end today, Bob, when your friend has been laid to rest, how do you hope people remember him?
For the compassionate person that he was, that he loved all people. He wanted to see peace. He wanted everyone to love each other. He wanted to make sure that the world was a safer, better place. And I think that is how the world's going to remember him.
Absolutely. Very well said. Bob Gunnell, Ali family spokesperson on this day of days, we very much appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.